part of that. But man, it was just a weird game because of that Haliburton injury. He was having a great night, 9 points already in the game of 16 points at the time for Indiana. He was playing aggressive. It just sucks, man. It sucks that he got hurt. And like, that's part of the story tonight. It's just part of it. Injuries are part of the story with this game tonight, part of the story with the entire postseason as a whole. So in that sense, I guess it's on brand. Just a bummer. I feel so bad for Haliburton, man. I feel so bad for that dude.
Yeah, I was there when Kevin Durant tore his Achilles in the 2019 NBA Finals in Toronto. It was Game 5, and he had a similar incredible start to the game where you're just like, how is he doing this? Similar injury coming into the game, a calf strain, what was labeled a calf strain that was knocking him out for weeks in that postseason in 2019, comes back in Game 5, just killing him out there. And then does the same kind of try to push off that ankle, and it just ruptured Achilles. And it's just so hard to watch. I winced every time that ESPN went to that replay when you could see the recoil and they kept showing the slow-mo. It was hard to watch, but I get it. This is the NBA Finals. The star player, Tyrese Haliburton, is down with an injury, slamming his fist into the ground. And my wife was in the room, my father was in the room, and they were just like, they couldn't believe what they were watching. I was screaming. I was like, no, not in the NBA Finals. In the same way that in the 2019 NBA Finals, we saw not just Kevin Durant go down, but also Klay Thompson Game 6 with the ACL injury. And this is the NBA Finals. These players are being pushed far past what their bodies are normally capable of. And that's what we love about sports, right? We think that there's a capacity that these guys can hit, and then they go even further. And look, Tyrese Haliburton has been dealing with this calf strain, ankle injury that he called it, kind of a nebulous injury that wasn't totally clear what was going on, but he fought through the injury, and then ultimately the same leg snapped, his Achilles. From what it seems like, I should say that we should couch that it's not official that it's a ruptured Achilles, but this is something that has been a real epidemic in the NBA. This is, Kev, the third time in this postseason that we've seen a star player, Jason Tatum, Damian Lillard, and Tyrese Haliburton go down with a ruptured Achilles. And then you throw in the fact that this is the third time that the Pacers have had a player go down with a ruptured Achilles in Isaiah Jackson and James Wiseman. This is a crisis. Like, you can say that this maybe one of these or two of these, it just happens. But when you're seeing several players this season go down with an Achilles rupture with the same kind of the same kind of movement, that push off, the classic push off where that ankle is totally flexed right there with Tyrese Haliburton trying to push off. This is something that I don't think is something we can blame the Pacers for. The fact that they've had 3 of these this season, when every team, it seems like, is dealing with something similar. And it's something that the NBA has to figure out. Like, bar none, full stop.
Put it this
we
way,
have
Tom,
to figure out how to stop this right now.
It's not just the Pacers, as you said. Like you said, we saw it with Tatum, saw it with Lillard, saw it with Haliburton. Before the season, Day'Ron Holmes, it happened for him in the summer league with the Nuggets. It happened with Thanasis Antetokounmpo during his offseason workouts. Happened during the season with DeJounte Murray. Happened with Drew Smith, a two-way player. It happened just 2 days ago during pre-draft training with Jalen Moore, a potential second-round pick out of Oklahoma. So it's happening in workouts that happen all the time. It's happening more often in games. And for what it's worth, this a total amount, the 8 for the players under contract, that exceeds the all-time amount of 5 that happened in the 24-15 season. That's the year Kobe tore his Achilles. And so I think for the NBA, what could be behind it is simply the sheer fact that players are running more miles over the course of the season, playing faster, pace is up, putting more literal miles on their legs while playing a more athletically demanding game, having to close out side to side in the court, in the corners, above the break, running full sprint up and down the floor. And if you want to say maybe it's happening more to the Pacers, it might be related to the fact that they do that to the greatest extremes, the pace that they play with. So I think for Indiana, it's just unfortunate bad luck with the 3 of them. But at the same time, the way they play, is reflective of why we could be seeing an uptick in these types of injuries. And so for the NBA, I don't know if they'll look at rule changes, removing the corner three, the length of the season. I don't think they're gonna do that anytime soon. But ultimately, I do think these injuries are a reality of the style of play and of the length of the season, where this is just going to be a thing with these players that are playing 70-plus games during the season, then have to play for 3 months in the postseason. I don't see it ending anytime soon with rule changes that aren't probably coming anytime soon, Tom. I'm just not expecting it. Are you?
I was kind of shrugging off the idea of a 40-minute game, right? We talked about this after game 6. And I'm wondering if this is some sort of compromise where they just look, you guys don't want to lose games because that's a lot of revenues that you're going to lose, right? The players don't want to lose those revenues.
Unless the quality of games goes up and therefore revenue could go up. It's just a major risk.
I'm with you.
It's a risk for the league to actually do that.
I'm totally with you. I think that there is a lot of unseen potential for raising the stakes in regular season games. If there's, say, 50 or 60 regular season games, every game matters so much more. And I do think that TV partners,
play every team twice, that type of thing, right? If you once you expand to 32 games, play everybody twice, 62 regular season games, plus whatever in-season games, play-in games, and then the playoffs. Like, to me, the quality is significantly higher, and there's ways you can gamify that as well.
Right. And I think that the games would matter. And what we want is these games to feel like event programming, right? The NFL has this, college football has this, where every game you have to watch because it matters. Like if there's only 2 games between the Lakers and the Celtics, or that's a bad example because they're in 2 different conferences. If there's 2 games between OKC and Denver, or Kevin Durant's new team, the Houston Rockets, and his old team, the Phoenix Suns, if there's only 2 games on the calendar, each one is going to be so much more important to watch, right? So I think that the NBA is smart enough to know that they can't have Damian Lillard go down with an Achilles. They can't have Jason Tatum go down with an Achilles and Tyrese Haliburton go down with an Achilles. We've seen this isn't going to count because he's not technically missing a game, but I'm going to count it anyway. 6 All-Stars in Tyrese Haliburton hurting his Achilles, 6 All-Stars missing games in the postseason. This is something that in previous eras, Kevin, we would see 0 players, All-Stars, missing games in the postseason due to injury. Now we're seeing 5, 6, 7, 8 every season. So this is, and I wrote about this a couple weeks ago when Jason Tatum went down for Yahoo Sports. I found that playoff injuries to star players are up 7-fold since the late 90s. 7-fold. So we're talking something that isn't just a blip, that it's not a 1-season blip. I just talked about the 2019 NBA Finals being marred by injuries on the Golden State Warriors. And yes, the Warriors were down 3-1 in the series when KD got hurt. And then they were down 3-2 when Klay Thompson was hurt with his ACL. But we've seen this time and time again where the road to becoming a champion or the road to becoming a conference champion is a little bit lessened because of injuries on the other side. And it's becoming more of a fact. And I do think that if this continues happening, you're going to start to lose viewers tuning in because they don't have the star power that they once do. So I think it might hurt in the short term to cut games, but I think a long-term game in making these games matter and have fewer opportunities for injury.
I think that's spot on, Tom. I mean, ultimately, it could hurt in the short term. But if this is the way the game's going to go with spacing, three-point shooting, and fast pace, and I think the league likes that. I think the league likes the style of play because it's fun. It leads to comebacks. The Pacers don't come back without this style of play that they have throughout the postseason and the ways that they did with these historic comebacks. The league likes this style. If you like the style and if you're not going to make rule changes to increase the amount of mid-range jumpers, removing the corner three, all these types of ideas you can throw up there, it has to be schedule related. And ultimately, though, the league has the rules that they have now. This is the way the season went. There were some key injuries. Haliburton goes down in this game. And I think some of the talk that was out there on social media today about, well, maybe you shouldn't let guys play who have calf injuries. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Haliburton would play this game over and over every time every single time, even if he knew he was going to tear his Achilles with the chance to win a championship. Taking that away simply because you have a calf injury is worse than knowing you had a chance to win a championship. I just think it's absurd to even suggest calves should be treated like concussions are in the NFL. It's not the way to go about it. To me, it has to be any schedule-related changes to hopefully lessen the wear and tear. But you have to give these players agency and choice. Haliburton was off to an amazing start in the game. If he steps differently in that particular moment, he might get through the whole game. It just didn't hold up in that moment, and it's unfortunate that it didn't. But to me, Haliburton has the heart of a champion for going out there the way he did in Game 6, and then in Game 7, performing at the level he did, inspiring his team. And the Pacers had a shot, man. They had a shot. Like, they made a run in the second half. They had an 11-1 run in the fourth quarter. It got a little scary for OKC. Haliburton SGA at one point has 5 fouls, no timeouts left for OKC. Like, you're thinking, like, oh, wait a minute here. It's not quite over. Yeah. And ultimately, man.
That's the legacy of the Pacers, dude. That's the legacy of the Pacers, is that they could be down 15 with 5 minutes left, and you're like, uh-oh. Like
without their star too.
That's exactly right, dude. Like, how crazy is that this is the true lesson. The thing that we will always remember about these Pacers is that you can never count them out. That you could be watching an NBA